What is cracking, y'all? Welcome back to Boo TV. Like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into this one for today, folks. So I often hear a lot of people when, Kobe gets brought up and they want to, criticize him or, find points in his career that they want to talk about to argue against him. They like to bring up the fact that, oh, what the hell happened after Shaq left? Oh, he missed the playoffs. And then they say, oh, what did Kobe really do for the Lakers franchise? The last couple years, they didn't even make the playoffs. So what are we talking about? And like I said, they don't put things into context. How many times did Kobe Bryant miss the playoffs when he was healthy and in his prime? Or you can just say, how many times did Kobe Bryant miss the playoffs when he was healthy? And I can answer both of those questions for you. When Kobe Bryant was in his prime and wasn't injured, he never missed the playoffs. All right. Now, if you want to count the year, his last year, after three season-ending injuries prior to that year, and he played most of the games, but we all know he was a shell of himself. If you want to count that as the one time he missed the playoffs in his 20th season as a shell of himself, you could have that. You could have that. But let's put things into context. After Shaquille O'Neal got traded, Kobe's first season without Shaq, the 2004-2005 season, the Lakers were battling at the bottom of the standings, somewhere between 7 and 8, 6, 7, 8, but I think it was more like 7 and 8. Right? And then Bean Bryant got injured. He got injured in that season, shortly after All-Star break. It was the second half of the season, but when Kobe got injured, they were in the playoff standings, and he missed the entire rest of the season after that. There was no Kobe Bryant for the rest of that season, and it was at that point the Lakers dropped out of the playoff standings. But while he was there, they were primed and ready to make a playoff run. Whether it would have been a first-round exit, a second-round exit, a third-round exit, nobody knows. You just don't know. It never happened. But Kobe did not play a lot of the games. Well, like I say, he was out for the season. Once that injury happened, he was out for the season, and the Lakers dropped out of the standings. But they'll just tell you, oh, he couldn't even make the playoffs without Shaq after Shaq left. What? What are you talking about, bro? He legitimately missed the rest of the season. Legitimately. And you know who Kobe Bryant is. This is a dude that will play through damn near anything. Dude played with an ankle the size of a ball. Dude played games with casts. He can't even get with casts on his hand. Playing games with just the left hand. Shooting three-point fadeaways baseline against the Dallas Mavericks with one hand. This is a guy that we know will play through almost anything. And the fact that he had to miss the rest of the season and the Lakers fall out of the playoff standings tells you, how serious that injury was. Because Kobe ain't trying to miss games like that. Y'all know that. All right? So let's put that into context. After that, he did not miss a single another playoff until after he tore his Achilles. And in that year he tore his Achilles, 2012, the 2012-2013 season. He tore his Achilles carrying a battered and bruised and underachieving team into the playoffs. And he ended up in a very important game against the Golden State Warriors. Like I said, he walked back out there with a torn Achilles, made some big free throws to help the Lakers ice the game, and he did not play the rest of the season. That was a very important game because the Lakers ended up making the playoffs. They only had a few games left on the schedule at that point, and they ended up making the playoffs. But of course, he wasn't there. He tore his Achilles. Now, what are we talking about right now? What are we talking about? All right? All right. And then the season after that, the Mamba, that would have been the 2013-2014 season. He missed probably like 15 or so games. No, probably like 20 games. He probably missed like 20 games. The beginning of the season, rehabbing his Achilles. He came back. Looked okay. But then he got another injury. He suffered a knee injury. He broke his knee, or a fractured knee. Broken knee, fractured knee. And he missed the rest of the season. Lakers did not make the playoffs. All right, he was barely there. Let's go to the following season, 2014 to 2015. He comes back, and he has a severe shoulder injury. I don't know if he fractured shoulder or broken shoulder, but he missed the rest of the season. Was not there. Lakers don't make the playoffs. All right? That was 2014-2015. Now let's go to the next year. 2015-2016. That was Kobe's final season. Now, if y'all remember, during that season, after he announced that he would be retiring, he wanted to make sure that he was able and willing to get through the season. So, what he would do, he would try to play every road game because he wanted, obviously he's played in LA his whole year. He plays in LA the most, obviously. He plays for the Lakers. So he would take home games off. He says, hey, man, I've been in LA 20 years. These guys have had plenty of opportunities to come see me, but not so much the people that we go visit when we're on the road. So he wanted to make sure that he got rest during the home games for his body to heal and rehab, and then make sure he would play all the road games so that other people could get a chance to watch him play, and they could say their goodbyes, and he could say his goodbyes. And he was able to make it through that season without suffering any season-ending injury. But he really, really had to load manage. Really had to load manage. And at that point, Kobe was a shell of himself. Every now and then, he'd look like prime Kobe Bryant. He'd have his legs. He'd have some energy. He'd be on it. But then there were games he just did not have his legs, and he wasn't on it, and he could feel it. His body failed him ultimately. And he was a shell of himself. That wasn't Kobe every game. He couldn't carry a team like he used to. Of course not. Not after all that. Not after that age, that long, that many miles on his body. You tear your Achilles, you fracture your knee, and break your shoulder. What more do you have left to give? You know what I mean? And yeah, they missed the playoffs then. He played the majority of the season as a shell of himself, and they missed the playoffs. So if you want to pin that one on them and you want to be petty, go for it. You could have that. You could have that. But other than that, that would have been the only time he missed the playoffs when healthy. We calling that healthy. We call that healthy. You know what I mean? So you could have that one. But other than that, he was not around to get that team into the playoffs. So let's put this stuff into context. And especially given Kobe, you got to bring that up. You got to bring that up because that's a testament to the soldier that this guy was. That this guy would go out and play on fractured fingers, dislocated fingers, sprained ankles, sprained wrists, sprained knees, shoulder sprains. He would go out and play on all that stuff. Even when he was making those championship runs after Shaq, he was playing with fucked up fingers, and he had to adjust with his shooting hand. He had to change his form. He had to change the release on his shooting hand. And with all that, and still giving people buckets, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. Even that last championship run he did, he went into that offseason injured and suckered it up and still played. He went into that season injured. He went into that postseason injured. So I found a cool graphic here on Lakers Nation that really shows you, all the injuries that Kobe Bryant had to suffer through. Now, the only thing is this article was, this graphic was created in 2014, so it did not capture the shoulder injury that made him miss the 2014-2015 season, because this was before it happened. So you could just, pretend that season-ending shoulder injury was there too. But you can look here and see everything he had to go through, and how many games he missed due to those injuries. Laceration index finger, I remember that one. I think he had a lacerated finger twice, actually. Or maybe he just re-injured it. Yeah, lacerated finger, avulsion fracture, index finger, fractured metacarpal, sprained shoulder, viral infection, flu, sore knee surgery, sprained ankle, severe sprained ankle, strained hip flexure, fractured knee swelling, bruised shin, sprained ankle, tendonitis shin, sprained ankle, severe ankle, Achilles injuries, torn Achilles, sore foot. Come on, man. And honestly, the amount of games missed on this graphic, in all reality, if this was any other player, for the most part, those numbers would be a lot larger. But this guy would just play through this shit. He'd come back early and play through it. And sure, some might say, maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe that had something to do with the fact that, his body kind of failed on him at the end. That's certainly possible. I mean, we can't prove it, but it's possible. Even that game where he tore his Achilles in Golden State, before he tore his Achilles, he went back into the locker room with like two or three different times before he tore his Achilles. In that same game, he went back to the locker room for what looked like different kinds of injuries that would have put him out for the rest of the game. But next thing you know, he come back out the locker room and enter the game. And then Achilles happened. But the dude literally sacrificed his body. But I get where he's coming from. Kobe was the type of guy where it's like, hey, tomorrow's never promised. I might not wake up tomorrow, so I have to squeeze everything I can out of this orange and get everything I can get out of myself, because tomorrow is never promised. And that is the code by which Kobe Bryant lived by. And, in hindsight, after he passed away, to me, it verified everything that he said, and verified and solidified just everything. Like, just everything. For even post-career, he was still emptying out everything he possibly could. Winning awards. Come on, man. And I was so interested in seeing his career after basketball, because the dude was already got an Oscar, you know what I mean? And it was like, dude, this dude can literally do anything. He can literally do anything because his mentality is so driven on another level. If you challenge Kobe, but you can't do this, he's like, okay, give me some time. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna master it. That was that dude. Dude taught himself with some type of sonata, something on a piano. He taught himself how to play piano by listening or something like that. The dude was nuts. All right, it's a brainiac. But and with him passing away, it was like, and this is exactly what he was talking about. Tomorrow's never promised. So I'm squeezing everything out that I can. I'm emptying the holster because this is my life and this is my legacy. I totally went a totally different direction than the top of this video, but I'm in it now. I'm in it. I'm in the sauce. I'm deep in the mud. I have such a bad habit of ranting and going on. Hey, if you don't like it, you can unsub. But I'm on it. I'm on it, son. I'm on it, bro. But okay, but that's it, man. Like, when healthy, you know what I'm saying? Healthy. Kobe Bryant in year 20, fighting injuries and fighting out Father Time just to get out of here alive, just to get out of there healthy, rather, to say goodbye to everybody and play for everybody one more time and finish his career off and completing his final season to the best of his ability. Healthy. It was the one time he more or less got there from beginning to end and missed the playoffs. If you want to count that against him. And like I said, if you want to, you can have that. You can have that. But don't sit here all those other years where he missed because he didn't play. He missed the rest of the season. Don't count that against him. Because if you count that against him, you better leave out context when it comes to other people missing the playoffs. Don't just give context to some people and don't give them to other people. Let's keep the energy consistent, people. Let's keep the energy consistent. All right? All right. Now that's all I got to say. Like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate you guys, no doubt. Peace and much love. Keep it popping. Stay safe out there. And live life to your fullest because tomorrow's never promised. All right? We out, baby.